Hi there, this is Alexi Lubomirski, and today we are interviewing an old friend of mine, Laura Brown, the editor-in-chief of InStyle Magazine. Not only is she incredibly smart, she's incredibly funny and incredibly incredible. So I hope you enjoy it. So, brought up single mum.
Single mum.
Only child.
Only child, apart from Emily, who'll get mad because she's on my dad's side. Emily, you are there, don't worry.
Right.
But we did not grow up together.
Right.
And so we lived in a one-bedroom apartment in Sydney, and I worked from when I was young because we were not, in Australia, not made of money.
Right.
And I worked, and my mom is very reserved. She's quite reserved. I take after my dad. Dad was very gregarious.
Right.
And so she was super reserved, but I was very outgoing, and I just wanted to get into the world. And there was a big fancy fashion show at the Opera House, and it was Sonia Rykiel, Claude Montana, Miss Sony, I guess, and I was watching it on the telly. And I just was like, oh, that's what that can be? It was just, all this stuff had come to my doorstep. So it was the glamour of it, but it was also just the otherworldliness of it and the creativity of it and the stagecraft of it.
Right.
And it was so foreign. And then I just, all the way through high school, I would just worked and waitressed and saved money and bought clothes and went and did communications at university and then journalism, and then worked at fashion magazines for we would call it work experience. And I was just dead set. And I moved here on September the 4th, 2001.
Wow.
So crazy. So everyone in Australia was like, you can come home, you're still packed. And I was like,
Yeah, interesting time to come,
though.
because it's usually when you come to New York, everything is immediately, you have to hit the ground running. And it's go. But then you arrived and everything kind of stagnated for a bit and nobody really knew what was going to happen.
No one knew, and it was a very odd time because I was freelancing for the New York Post and also writing about terrorism.
Right.
Yeah, I remember even the date, it was September 16th or something. I went to meet Glenda Bailey, editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar. And so you're there and everybody had to go back to work, and I'm sitting in her office and she's legitimately asking me so what are your fashion connections? Well, there's a smoking hole happening. And but it's not to make it sound insensitive, it just was why everybody had to go back to work, and nobody really knew what they were doing.
But it's also a very New York kind of...
And I was I know some people in England.
So let's talk about going to Bazaar. You've always described Glenda as I think you posted when you left I wouldn't be here without you, or
indefatigable is
right.
Glenda has so much self-belief. It is extraordinary. I'm very much, and you can't force anything, you know what I mean? But I do appreciate with her no, ask again, I'll go this way, I'll see what it will take to get that person to do it. Now I'm a bit more chill.
The reason I wanted to interview you is because you came out of the gates not trying to emulate any other editor-in-chief.
No.
You have been constantly yourself. You haven't
better
changed.
or for worse,
for better or worse.
Yeah.
But you haven't changed since the first time I met you.
No.
You have not matured one bit.
I have not matured one bit. My face is going down, but the rest is... I'm so resolutely myself now because I was myself and I did the work.
Right.
And I got here. You know what I mean? But and then people always go you're so unusual, and I'm it's sort of crazy that I am so unusual.
Yeah.
There was this sort of archetype of what you had to be and what you had to wear and what you had to say and what you had to think.
But it was also a very guarded sort of, I always describe it as there were these golden curtains, like the Wizard of Oz, and nobody could ever know what was going on behind them.
No.
And now social media has kind of democratized everything.
Democratized, I've got it.
I'm the photographer, you're the writer.
No, it has, and I don't care.
Well, I think
it's about what I have to say and what my brand is. As in InStyle, and especially now, I got this job. It was 3 months before Trump was elected, so I just can't. But I'm not just shooting ladies in evening gowns on couches with their dressed up child and everything's perfect. I can't. It's not responsible.
So, what role do you think a fashion magazine can now play in terms of changing hearts and minds, whether it's to do with politics, whether it's to do with the environment, or?
I think a very big role. It's about what's decent and what's not decent, or it's about what's on the right side of history. And so when it gives you such clarity. It's just these kids are in cages because of this administration. Well, I'm not going to walk around saying that it's all okay. But we sort of one way I sort of got at it was we have something called Badass Women.
Yes.
And it came about because it was almost 2.5 years ago, Trump announced what at the time was ill-fated, but has since happened, the trans ban in the military.
Right.
And I was just furious. So we found a trans woman called Jennifer Peace. She'd served in three kids, I think, just married, served in every war of her generation. And I was just so like outraged that why would they not let her? And I was reading about her and I thought, and I just went to, I was standing with my team and I was like, badass. I was like, oh. And I thought, oh, okay, I want to do that in the magazine every month. We do a badass woman, we do one every week online. And it came from like, and then like some people corporately were a bit like, badass? Like you don't want to call it like change makers? And I'm like, no. What's change maker? It sounds like a pacemaker. That comes at it because it's like really great ladies who might be an immigration lawyer. They might be an astronaut. There could be anti-gun, Alex Shannon, we did Shannon Watts, and like advocates. So it's like, if you spotlight these women who are on the right side of history, and then say, get behind them if you like, rather than just bashing Trump all day, because that's exhausting. It's just not good for your health, and it's just noise. And for me, because there's so much noise and there's so much anger and there's so much everything, I've got to go at it from like the positive of like, here are these great people doing good work.
Right.
We're in the business of communication, and if you have to communicate as best you can, and people will come to you if you have something to say, or you have an original voice, and if you don't, you're going to die. And you look around right now, and I'm like going like, why? Because you're still cogging, that's going to be how you're going to die. But I think some people are still in that. Yeah. I'm with this title, and this title means something, and it's like, title doesn't mean anything without you bringing something singular to it. That you can bring something to a brand, it can register when it's just from your own gut.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, then please remember to subscribe.